floated through the debris field with his cutting torch ready. The metal chunks around him were old, really old. Some pieces still had burn marks from weapons that nobody used anymore. This was the good stuff, the kind of scrap that paid well. His small ship, the Morning Belle, waited a few kilometers away, was probably sleeping in the pilot's seat again. She always did that when he went out on collection runs, smiled at the thought. They had been partners for 3 years now, and she still hated the boring parts of scrap trading. The debris field stretched out in all directions. It was in neutral space, far from the main trade routes. Most scrappers avoided this area because of old war stories, tales about ghosts and cursed weapons. Didn't believe in that stuff. He believed in credits. His scanner beeped. Something big was ahead, half buried in a broken asteroid. Pushed himself forward with his suit thrusters. The object came into view. It was a cargo container, still sealed. The metal was black and smooth, not like anything he had seen before. His heart beat faster. Sealed containers meant valuable cargo. He moved closer and saw symbols on the side. They looked like writing, but not from any language he knew. The symbols seemed to glow faintly, then fade, then glow again. Probably just his tired eyes playing tricks. He attached his cutting tool to the container's lock. The seal broke with a hiss of escaping gas. Cold air poured out, forming ice crystals in the vacuum. Suit protected him from the cold. He pulled the container door open. Inside was a single object, a suit. It hung on a rack like it was waiting for someone. The suit was black, so black it seemed to absorb light. Lines of silver ran across its surface in patterns that hurt to look at. The helmet had no visible eyes or face, just a smooth curve. More glowing symbols covered the inside of the container. Red ones this time. New warning symbols when he saw them, even if he couldn't read these. But warnings didn't pay rent. And this suit looked expensive. Really expensive. He reached out and touched it. The material felt warm, which was impossible in the cold of space. It felt almost alive under his gloved hand. Pulled the suit off its rack. It was surprisingly light. A crazy idea entered his mind. What if he tried it on, just to see if it fit? He could test it, make sure it worked before trying to sell it. That would increase the price. Yeah, that made sense. Found the opening in the back. The suit seemed to help him, opening wider as he approached. He stepped inside, and the suit wrapped around him like liquid. It happened so fast he didn't have time to be scared. Then the pain started. It felt like needles in every part of his body. His arms, his legs, his spine screamed, but no sound came out. The suit was connecting to him, becoming part of him. He tried to rip it off, but his hands wouldn't obey. The helmet flowed over his head, covering his face. Everything went dark. Thought he was dying. This was it. He had been too greedy, too stupid. Would find his body floating here, trapped in this cursed suit. Then the darkness cleared, but it wasn't normal sight. Could see everything. The debris around him looked crystal clear. He could see tiny details on metal pieces hundreds of meters away. Information appeared in his vision, showing him distances, compositions, energy readings. He could understand the alien symbols now. They said, "Danger REAVER weapon destroy on sight." "Oh no," whispered. His voice sounded strange, echoed by the suit. A voice spoke in his head. It was broken, cutting in and out like a bad radio signal. "Reaver, protocol, initiated scanning. Host, human, acceptable, neural, bonding, complete." "What? Who are you? Get out of my head," shouted. "I am damaged, memory, corrupted, designation, unknown. You are Reaver, now." Tried to pull the suit off again. His hands grabbed at the helmet, but there was nothing to grab. The suit had become his skin. He couldn't find where his body ended and the suit began. That's when the alarms started. They came from everywhere at once. His new vision showed him sensor beams sweeping the area. Ships were coming. Lots of ships. His suit was analyzing them automatically, showing him ship types and weapon systems. 3 different fleets were converging on his location. "No, no, no, no," muttered. He fired his thrusters and headed back to the Morning Bell as fast as he could. Behind him, the first military ships were entering the debris field. The Morning Bell's airlock had never looked so beautiful, crashed through it and slammed the button to close it. The inner door opened, and he stumbled into the ship. Jumped out of the pilot's seat. "What happened? You're 3 hours late, and what is that? What are you wearing?" "No time, we need to go now," shouted. "What? Why, you look like—" "Move," pushed past her toward the cockpit. He could see the first alien warship approaching. It was massive, covered in weapons. Behind it, more ships were appearing. "Saw them too," her face went pale. "What did you do?" "I found a suit, I put it on. Now everyone wants to kill us. Can we please leave?" Stared at him for 3 long seconds. Then she jumped into the pilot's seat and slammed her hands on the controls. "Strap in." The Morning Bell's engines roared to life. The small ship spun around and blasted away from the debris field at maximum speed. Behind them, the warships opened fire. Energy beams cut through space where they had been seconds ago, threw the ship into a wild spin, dodging another volley. "They're really trying to kill us. What is that suit?" "I don't know. It just said something about being a Reaver." His eyes went wide with fear. "A Reaver like the Reavers from the old war stories." "I guess." "We're dead, we're so dead." Pulled the ship into a tight turn, barely avoiding a massive energy blast. "Those things were used to destroy planets. Why would you put it on?" "It seemed like a good idea at the time." More ships were joining the chase now. Could see them all through his new vision. His suit was tracking every vessel, calculating their speeds and weapons. There were too many. They would never escape. Unless— The suit whispered in his mind again. "Combat, mode, available threats, detected, recommend, engagement." "No, no combat, we're running away," said. "But we can't outrun them all," yelled. Sweat poured down her face as she piloted through a storm of weapons fire. Grabbed the co-pilot controls. His suited hands moved faster than they should, inputting jump coordinates. "Jump to the crossing point station. Right now." "That's a civilian station. We'll bring this war to thousands of people." "It's our only chance. The station has defenses, multiple jurisdictions. They can't just attack us there." Looked at him, at the black suit that covered her friend, at the alien warships that kept firing. She made her choice. "Hold on." The Morning Bell jumped into faster-than-light travel. The warships and debris field vanished behind them, but knew this wasn't over. It was just beginning. He looked down at his suited hands and wondered if he would ever be human again. The voice in his head whispered, "Reaver, awakened, protocol, continuing." Closed his eyes and tried not to think about what that meant. The Morning Bell dropped out of faster-than-light travel near Crossing Point Station. The massive structure floated in space like a small metal moon. Ships from dozens of alien species docked at its many ports. Normally, the sight made feel safe. Today, it just reminded him how many witnesses would watch him die. "We need to hide you," said. She was already pulling the ship toward a cargo entrance. "That suit, everyone will see it." "I can't take it off." Looked at his hands again. The black material moved slightly like it was breathing. "It's part of me now." His jaw tightened. She was angry, scared, but she was still here, still helping. "Then we find someone who knows about this stuff, someone who can help." The ship docked without problems. Station security didn't know yet, but they would, could feel it. The suit was like a beacon, announcing itself to anyone who knew what to look for. They moved through the cargo bay quickly, tried to walk normally, but the suit made everything different. He felt stronger, faster. His senses were too sharp. He could hear conversations happening 3 corridors away. He could smell fear, worry and anger mixed together. "Stop doing that," whispered. "Doing what?" "Looking around like you can see through walls. You're freaking me out." I can't help it, the suit shows me everything. They reached their usual hiding spot, a storage unit rented under a fake name. Inside were supplies, spare parts, and emergency money. Pulled out a data pad and started typing fast. "What are you looking for?" asked. "Information. If you're wearing a Reaver suit, we need to know what that means." Her fingers flew across the screen. "There has to be something in the historical databases." Sat down and tried to calm his racing heart. The suit's voice had gone quiet, but he could still feel it there, waiting, watching through his eyes. "Found something." Her face went from worried to terrified. "Oh no, this is bad." "How bad?" "Galactic law bad, extinction level bad." She turned the pad toward him. The screen showed an old document translated into human language. Reaver suits were weapons from the predecessor war, 10,000 years ago. They were used to wipe out entire civilizations. Read the document. Each line was worse than the last. The predecessors had created 700 Reaver suits. Each one was piloted by a bonded warrior. These warriors had destroyed planets, killed billions, ended species. The war had almost torn the galaxy apart. It says here that after the war, the surviving races made a law. Anyone who activates a Reaver suit must be killed immediately. No trial, no mercy. It's the only galactic law that every species agrees on. "That's insane," said. "I just found it, I didn't know." "It doesn't matter. The law doesn't care about mistakes." Kept reading. "There's more. The suits bond at a molecular level. The person and the suit become one thing. You can't separate them without killing the host." "So I'm stuck like this?" "Yes." They sat in silence for a moment. Outside the storage unit, station life continued normally. People traded goods, made deals, lived their lives. None of them knew that a walking war crime was hiding in Section 12. The alarm started exactly 4 minutes later. Station-wide sirens blared. Announcement voices spoke in a dozen languages at once. "Attention all personnel. Class 1 threat detected on station. Sector 12 is now under lockdown. Military forces are authorized to use lethal force." "They found us," said. "How? We just got here." "The suit, it must send out some kind of signal," stood up. The suit moved with him, smooth and perfect. "They're tracking me." Heavy footsteps echoed in the corridor outside. Lots of them. Pulled out a small gun, her hands shaking. "We need another way out." "There isn't one. This unit only has one exit." The door exploded inward. Armored soldiers rushed in, weapons raised. They weren't human. These were the reptilian warriors that controlled 3 sectors of the galaxy. Their armor was thick and battle-scarred. Their weapons could punch through ship hulls. "Don't move," the lead soldier shouted, his weapon aimed right at its head. Reaver detected, preparing to neutralize. Raised his hand slowly. "Wait, I can explain. I didn't know what this was. I'm not." The soldier fired. Time seemed to slow down. Watched the energy blast come toward him. His body moved without his permission. The suit took control, throwing him to the side. The blast hit the wall behind where he had been standing, melting metal. "Stop, he's not attacking," screamed. "The Reaver must be destroyed." Another soldier fired. Dodged again. The suit moved him like a puppet, faster than any human should move. He wasn't thinking. The suit was thinking for him, calculating angles and trajectories. "Combat mode engaged," the voice whispered in his head. "Threats identified, beginning elimination." "No," tried to resist, but his body wasn't listening. His suited arm came up. Energy built in his palm, glowing white-hot. The blast that came out hit the first soldier in the chest. It went through his armor like it was paper. The soldier fell, dead, had killed him. "I didn't mean to. I'm not controlling this," shouted, but the other soldiers didn't care. They opened fire with everything they had. The suit protected him. Energy shields appeared, stopping bullets and beams. His body moved in ways he didn't know were possible, fighting back against his will. Every punch from the suit's enhanced strength broke armor. Every blast from the suit's weapons found a target. In 30 seconds, all 12 soldiers were down, some dead, some unconscious. The storage unit was destroyed, burning and smoking. Stood against the back wall, her face white with shock. As she whispered, "I didn't want this," looked at his hands. They were covered in scorch marks and blood. "I tried to stop it." "We have to run now," grabbed his arm. The suit didn't fight her touch. "Before more come." They ran through the corridors. People saw them coming and scattered, screaming. Some pulled weapons. The suit identified them all as threats, but he fought for control. He wouldn't let it kill anyone else, not if he could help it. More security forces appeared at every turn. Station guards, private military, bounty hunters looking for easy money. The suit defended from all of them, but he managed to stop it from using lethal force. Mostly. He knocked people aside instead of killing them, destroyed weapons instead of soldiers. They reached the docking bay. The morning bell waited where they left it, but so did something else. 3 more warships had docked. Soldiers poured out, forming a wall between and his ship. Behind them came someone new, a human woman in an expensive suit. She had gray hair and cold eyes. A military badge on her collar marked her as high-ranking, Admiral of the human colonial fleet. Admiral said calmly, "You need to come with me." "You're human," said. "You're supposed to help me." "I am helping you, and helping humanity," gestured to the soldiers. 17 alien species have declared war on the human race in the last hour, because of you, because you activated a Reaver suit. "I didn't know." "It doesn't matter. If you come with me now, surrender yourself, we can stop this war. The aliens will see that humans take responsibility, that we're not like the predecessors." Step between them. "You want to kill him to save your political career." "I want to save billions of human lives. One man's life against billions, that's an easy choice." Looked at, "You can end this, be a hero, sacrifice yourself for humanity." The suit whispered again, "Threat detected, recommend elimination. This human is dangerous." For once agreed with the suit, but he didn't want more death. He was tired of killing. "What if I leave, go far away where no one can find me?" "They'll hunt you forever. Every species in the galaxy wants you dead. They'll burn entire planets to find you. Is that what you want?" Didn't know what he wanted. He just wanted to go back to collecting scrap with, back to when life was simple and boring. Then did something crazy. She pulled out a data chip and threw it to the nearest news drone. "Catch!" she shouted. The drone caught it automatically. It started broadcasting immediately, had recorded everything. The storage unit attack, the soldiers firing first, trying not to fight back. All of it went out across the station's network, then to the wider galaxy. "What did you do?" His face went red with anger. "Showed everyone the truth," said. "He didn't attack anyone, he defended himself. And now everyone knows it." Alarms blared again. Different ones this time. More ships were arriving, not just ships from the Veil Collective, the psychic hive mind species. Ships from races didn't recognize. All of them broadcasting the same message. "Reaver detected, preparing weapons." "They're going to destroy the station," an officer said. "We need to evacuate." "No," said, "we capture the Reaver first." But wasn't listening anymore, because the suit had shown him something, a way out, a dangerous way, but the only way that let everyone live. He said quietly, "Get to the ship, start the engines." "What are you going to do?" "Something stupid, again." Before anyone could stop him, jumped. The suit boosted him high into the air, over the soldiers, over, straight toward the morning bell's open cargo door. Ran behind him. They reached the ship together. "Go," shouted. Launched the ship before the airlock fully closed. Energy blasts followed them, but was a better pilot than anyone expected. The morning bell weaved through fire and jumped to faster-than-light speed. Behind them, Crossing Point Station erupted in chaos, and across the galaxy, every military force began hunting for a human in a black suit, a human who had committed the greatest crime possible, a human who just wanted to survive. The morning bell traveled for 3 days before felt safe enough to stop. They landed on a forgotten colony world called Dust Home. Nobody important came here. The people who lived on Dust Home wanted to be forgotten. Sat in the cargo hold trying to understand his new body. The suit responded to his thoughts now. If he concentrated hard enough, he could make it soften, almost like normal clothing. But he couldn't remove it. The bond was permanent. "You need to eat something," said from the doorway. She held a ration pack, steam rising from the heated meal. "I'm not hungry." It was true. The suit seemed to be feeding him somehow, keeping him alive without food or water, just another way it had changed him. Sat down next to him anyway. "We can't run forever. Those fleets will find us eventually." "I know. So what do we do?" Didn't have an answer. The past 3 days had been a blur of jumps and hiding. Every station they passed had his face on wanted screens. The reward for his capture was enough to buy a planet. Dead or alive, the notices said. Mostly dead. "The suit keeps talking to me," said quietly. "Showing me things, memories of its last pilot." "What kind of memories?" "War, so much war." Closed his eyes, but the images were still there. "I see battles in places I don't recognize, planets burning, cities falling. The pilot was killing everyone, but that's not the whole story." "What do you mean?" "The predecessors weren't just conquering. They were fighting something else, something worse. The memories are damaged, broken, but I keep seeing this thing, a tear in space, things coming through that shouldn't exist." Frowned. The history files didn't mention that. Maybe the history files are wrong. A knock on the ship's hull made them both jump. Suit immediately activated combat mode, energy building in his palms. Grabbed her gun. "Peace," a voice called from outside, female, speaking human language with a strange accent. "I am not military, I wish to talk." "Looked at," he nodded. She opened the cargo door carefully, gun ready. A human woman stood there alone. She was older, maybe 50, with black hair tied back. She wore simple clothes, not armor or a uniform, but her eyes were sharp, intelligent. She carried no visible weapons. "My name is Myra," the woman said. I study predecessor sites. Can I come in?" "How did you find us?" asked, staying ready to fight. "I didn't. I live here. This colony is my research base." Myra gestured at the dusty landscape behind her. "When I saw a ship land near predecessor ruins, I came to investigate. Imagine my surprise when I saw a working Reaver suit." "If you're here to collect the bounty," started. "Please, I've spent 30 years studying the predecessors. Do you think I care about money?" Myra smiled. "I care about truth, and you might be the key to understanding what really happened 10,000 years ago." And exchanged looks. It could be a trap, but what choice did they have? "Come in," said. "But if you try anything, this suit will protect me." "I know, that's what makes it so fascinating." Myra stepped into the ship. She moved carefully around, studying the suit from every angle without getting too close. Her eyes were bright with curiosity. "Remarkable, the stories don't do it justice." Myra pulled out a small scanning device. "May I?" "Scan away." The device beeped and hummed. Myra's smile grew wider with each reading. "The suit is alive. Not conscious exactly, but it's a living machine. Bonded to your nervous system, your blood, even your DNA. Fascinating." "Can you separate us?" asked. "Get me out of this thing." Myra's smile faded. "No, the bond is absolute. You and the suit are one being now. Trying to separate you would kill you instantly." Had expected that answer, but hearing it confirmed still hurt. "However," Myra continued, "I can tell you what the suit really is. What the Reavers really were, if you want to know. We want to know, said. Myra put away her scanner and sat down. The Galactic Council has been lying for 10,000 years. The predecessors weren't monsters, they were defenders. Against what? Asked. Against the breach. Myra pulled up holographic images from her data pad. They showed a tear in space, just like in memories. Things crawled through it, shapes that hurt to look at. The breach is a crack between dimensions, between our reality and something else, something that wants to consume everything. The entities that come through can't be killed by normal weapons. They eat matter, energy, even time itself. That's impossible, said. So are Reaver suits, yet here we are. Myra changed the image. The predecessors discovered the breach was opening. They had maybe 10 years before it would tear the galaxy apart, so they created the ultimate weapons, suits that could fight reality itself. The Reaver suits, said. Yes, 700 suits for 700 warriors, the bravest, strongest, most dedicated defenders of the galaxy. They fought the breach entities. Many died, but they won. They sealed the breach and saved everyone. Then why does everyone think they were the bad guys? Asked. Myra's face darkened. Because the Galactic Council buried the truth. The Council was scared. The Reaver suits were too powerful. After the war, they realized these warriors could destroy civilizations if they wanted to. So the Council rewrote history, made the predecessors into monsters, made the Reavers into war criminals. Then they hunted down every suit and destroyed them. Why? Felt anger building in his chest. If they saved everyone. Fear, control. The Council wanted to make sure no one could ever threaten their power. Easier to rule if there are no heroes who can challenge you. Stood up and paced. The suit moved with him, smooth and angry. So I'm being hunted for doing nothing wrong. Worse than that. Myra's voice was grim. The Council has been detecting breach signatures again for the last 50 years. They know it's coming back. Silence filled the ship. Even the suit's whispers stopped. How long? Asked quietly. My calculations suggest the breach will open again within 6 months, maybe less, and the Council is doing nothing. They're making plans to abandon entire sectors. Let the breach consume the outer colonies while the core worlds run. That's genocide, said. Billions will die. Trillions, the breach doesn't stop. Once it starts consuming, it spreads. Eventually, it will eat everything. Myra looked at. Unless someone stops it. Me, I'm one person, one suit. Actually, Myra said carefully, there are more suits, 6 of them. I found them in my research. They're in stasis pods at a predecessor facility. Where? In space, the most heavily guarded sector of the galaxy. The Council knows the suits are there. They're afraid to destroy them because predecessor tech is dangerous to tamper with, so they guard them instead. Laughed, but there was no humor in it. You want us to break into the most guarded facility in the galaxy, steal 6 doomsday weapons, and then fight impossible monsters from another dimension. I know it sounds crazy. It is crazy. Said softly, what's the alternative? Run until the breach opens. Let everyone die because we were too scared to try. You can't be serious. These people are hunting you, trying to kill you, and you want to save them. I want to save everyone, including you. They stared at each other. Eyes were wet with tears she wouldn't let fall. You're an idiot. I know. We'll probably die. Probably. Fine, wiped her eyes. But I'm flying the ship, you're a terrible pilot. Smiled for the first time in days. Deal. Myra stood up. I have maps of the facility, research notes, everything I've gathered over 30 years. It's all yours, but I should warn you, even if you get the suits, you'll need people to wear them. People willing to bond permanently, to become Reavers. We'll find them, said, though he had no idea how. One more thing. Myra's face was serious. The suit chose you for a reason. Out of all the scrappers in the galaxy you found it. You were compatible, your DNA matched. What are you saying? I'm saying humans are genetically similar to predecessors, close enough that you can bond with their technology. Maybe that's why your species was brought into the galactic community so quickly. The Council knew. They were preparing, making sure humans were scattered across the galaxy, far from each other, never powerful enough to be a threat. They were afraid we'd become the new Reavers, said. Exactly. Looked at his suited hands. Maybe Myra was right. Maybe humans were meant for this. Maybe they were the galaxy's backup plan, the defenders nobody wanted to admit they needed. How do we get to space? Asked. Myra smiled. Carefully, very carefully, but I know someone who can help, a smuggler named Hoon. He owes me a favor. 3 days later, the Morning Bell left Dust home with a new passenger. Myra had given them everything she had, maps, codes, research files. She stayed behind, promising to spread the truth about the breach. Someone had to warn people, she said. Someone had to make them understand. As they traveled toward space, watched the stars pass by. The suit whispered constantly now, showing him more memories, showing him what was coming. The breach was real, it was hungry, and it was waking up. Just hoped he could find the other suits before it was too late, before everyone in the galaxy learned what it felt like to be erased from existence. The suit's voice spoke one more time before going quiet. Sentinel Online, you are the first. Find the others, complete the circle, stop the breach. I'll try, whispered back. You must succeed. There is no alternative. The breach cannot win. Closed his eyes and tried to believe those words. Tried to convince himself that one human in an ancient suit could make a difference. But deep down, he was terrified. The galaxy was counting on him, and they didn't even know it yet. The smuggler named Hoon met them at a dark space station on the edge of territory. He was a large man with hands and a suspicious face. He looked at Suit and frowned. Myra said you needed transport. She didn't say you were the galaxy's most wanted criminal. Can you help us or not? Asked. Depends on what you're paying. How about saving your life when the breach opens? Said. Hoon laughed, but his eyes were worried. Myra told me her crazy stories about monsters from another dimension. I don't know if I believe it. You will soon enough. They negotiated for an hour. Hoon wanted money, favors, and guarantees they wouldn't bring trouble to his door. Handled most of it. She was good at making deals. Finally, Hoon agreed. I can get you close to the facility, he said. But going inside, that's suicide. The guard it with a fleet. Automated defenses everywhere. Even if you get past all that, the facility itself is a maze. We have maps, said, showing Myra's research files. Hoon studied them and whistled. These are good, real good. Where'd Myra get this information? 30 years of research. Impressive woman. Hoon pulled up a star map. I can create a distraction, make the think pirates are attacking their trade routes, pull some ships away, but you'll only have a few hours. That's enough, said. 3 days later, they approached the facility. It was built inside a hollowed-out moon, surrounded by warships. Defense satellites orbited in layers, their weapons tracking everything that moved. Suit showed him all of it, calculating attack vectors and weak points. This is insane, muttered, piloting the Morning Bell through an asteroid field near the moon. We're 3 people attacking a military installation. 4 people, said a voice from the cargo hold. They turned. A woman stood there, young, wearing scavenged armor. She had a gun on her hip and determination in her eyes. Her name was, and she had snuck onto their ship at Hoon's station. Who are you? Demanded. Someone who wants to help, walked forward. I heard your story about the Reaver suits, about the breach. I want to wear one. It's permanent, said. You can never go back to normal. I know, I don't care. His voice was steady. My colony was destroyed 3 years ago. Pirates killed everyone I loved. I joined the military, but they were useless, corrupt. I want to do something that matters. I want to protect people." Looked at her through the suit's enhanced vision. She wasn't lying. Her heartbeat was steady. She meant every word. "If we survive this," said, "you can have one. When we survive this." Hoon's distraction worked perfectly. Half the fleet rushed away to deal with the fake pirate attack. The remaining ships were still too many, but it was better than before. "Going in," said, gripping the controls. The morning bell dove toward the moon, engines screaming. Defense satellites locked on immediately. Energy beams cut through space. Suit took partial control, helping pilot. Together, human and machine, they dodged fire that should have destroyed them. Operated the ship's guns, taking out satellites that got too close. They crashed through the moon's entrance, a massive door that opened to accept supply ships. Alarms blared. Security forces scrambled. But the morning bell was already inside, racing through tunnels at maximum speed. "There," pointed, "Section 7, that's where the suits are." The ship skidded to a stop in a huge chamber. Predecessor tech lined the walls, still functional after 10,000 years. And in the center, 6 pods stood in a circle. Each pod held a suit identical to's. "We did it," whispered. "They're real." "Get them open," said, jumping out of the ship. "Fast." But they weren't fast enough. Soldiers poured into the chamber from every entrance. Hundreds of them, all heavily armed. And behind them came something worse. Human soldiers wearing colonial fleet uniforms. Admiral walked into the chamber, calm and confident. "Did you really think we wouldn't anticipate this? We've been tracking you since dust home." "You followed us," said, raising her gun. "Of course, you did exactly what we predicted. Led us right to the other suits," smiled. "Now we can destroy them all at once." "You can't," shouted. "The breach is coming. These suits are the only defense." "The breach is a myth, a story the Council uses to control people," gestured to her soldiers. "Destroy the pods, kill anyone who resists." Suit reacted before he could think. Energy shields appeared, protecting the pods. Combat mode engaged fully. Became a blur of motion, faster than human eyes could follow. He didn't want to kill, but the soldiers fired first. Energy blasts hit his shields, draining power. Fought back, trying to only disable. But in a battle this big, mistakes happened. Soldiers fell. Warriors charged with melee weapons, their strength nearly matching the suits. Fought them hand to hand, the suit enhancing every punch. Behind him and provided covering fire. "Open the pods," yelled between attacks. "Find the controls." Ran to the nearest pod, searching for a way in. The predecessor writing glowed under her touch. The pod recognized her intent, her willingness. It opened. Their voice activated, called. Or thought activated, I don't know, but it worked. 2 more pods opened, then another. The suits hung inside, waiting. Empty shells that needed pilots. "No," ran forward, pulling out an explosive charge. "I won't let you unleash these weapons." Tried to stop her, but too many soldiers were in the way. Reached the nearest pod and attached the explosive. 10 seconds until detonation. Made a choice. She jumped into the open pod, grabbing the suit. It wrapped around her instantly, bonding in seconds. Her scream of pain echoed through the chamber. Then she moved, faster than any normal human, and ripped the explosive off the pod. She threw it toward the ceiling, where it detonated harmlessly. "I feel it," said, her voice changed by the suit. "I feel everything." 2 more people entered the chamber. Human refugees who had been hiding on Hoon's ship, listening to everything. A man named and a woman named Bo. They had lost families to war, to hunger, to the Council's incompetence. They wanted to matter. They each took a suit. The bonding process was faster this time, like the suits recognized the urgency. In minutes, 3 new Reavers stood ready. 4 suits remained in pods, waiting for pilots. "Fall back," ordered her soldiers. "This facility has a self-destruct. I'm activating it now." "You'll kill everyone here," shouted. "Acceptable losses." His face was cold. "These suits are too dangerous. Better to sacrifice a few hundred lives than risk billions." The floor shook. Deep underground, explosives began their countdown. 5 minutes until the facility tore itself apart. Made a decision. Everyone who wants to live, run, get to ships, go now. Soldiers looked at each other. Some ran immediately. Others hesitated. But when the Reavers didn't attack, Wen and his team started evacuating people instead of fighting them, more ran. Even some of his own soldiers abandoned her. "Traitors!" screamed. But she was running too, heading for her command ship. "We need to get the other suits out," Bo said. Her new suit gleamed in the emergency lights. "No time," answered. "This place is coming down." "Then we take the pods," grabbed the nearest pod with his enhanced strength. It was massive, heavy, but the suit made him strong enough. Everyone grabbed one. The 5 Reavers each grabbed a pod. The suits connected somehow, coordinating their efforts. They ran through the collapsing facility, pods on their shoulders, while fire and explosions chased them. The morning bell waited in the chamber, engines hot, had moved it closer, keeping the cargo door open. "Come on, 30 seconds." They threw the pods into the cargo hold and jumped in after. Launched the ship before the door fully closed. The facility exploded behind them, a chain reaction that tore the moon apart. Warships were waiting outside. So were human fleet ships, every weapon locked onto the morning bell. "They're going to kill us," said quietly. "Maybe," said, "or maybe we show them something." His suit connected to the others, forming a network. 5 Reaver suits working together. They reached out with their combined power and created something new. A shield that wrapped around the morning bell, strong enough to withstand a fleet's bombardment. The ships fired. Energy beams hit the shield and bounced off. Missiles exploded harmlessly. His flagship used its main weapon, a planet-killer beam. The shield absorbed it. "Impossible," someone whispered on the open communications channel. "Not impossible," broadcast back. "This is what Reavers can do. This is what we were built for, and we're not your enemy." "Your weapons," his voice was shrill with anger. "You'll destroy us all." "No, we'll save you." Then it happened. Space tore open. Right there in the middle of the fleet, reality split apart. A massive crack appeared, glowing with colors that didn't exist. Things came through the crack, entities that made eyes hurt to look at, monsters that physics. The breach had opened. "Oh no," whispered. Myra was right. The breach entities attacked immediately. They touched a warship and the ship simply stopped existing. Not destroyed, erased, gone from reality as if it had never been. More entities poured through. The fleet fired everything they had. Nothing worked. Weapons passed through the entities like they weren't there. Shields offered no protection. Panic spread through the fleet. Ships tried to run. Some made it, most didn't. "This is what you were protecting against," broadcast 2. "This is what the predecessors fought. This is why we need the suits." Didn't answer. Her flagship was trying to escape with the rest. "We have to fight," said. "People are dying." "Our suits aren't complete," warned. "We just bonded. We don't have full power yet." "We have enough." The 5 Reavers left the morning bell, flying into space without ships. Their suits protected them from the vacuum. They moved toward the breach, toward the entities that were consuming reality itself. And for the first time in 10,000 years, Reaver suits fought the breach again. The suits' weapons worked where nothing else did. Energy blasts from his hands hurt the entities, made them dissolve. The others discovered their own weapons, their own abilities. Together, they pushed back the tide. But there were too many entities. The breach was too big. 5 Reavers weren't enough. A massive entity came through, bigger than a ship. It reached for, and even his suit's shields barely held. He was being erased, slowly, painfully. Then something unexpected happened. A warship flew between and the entity. It fired everything, buying him seconds to recover. Over the communications channel, the captain spoke. "We believe you, human. Tell us how to help." More ships joined in, not attacking the Reavers but supporting them, creating a perimeter, evacuating survivors, doing everything they could while the Reavers fought the impossible. They couldn't close the breach, but they stopped it from growing. They fought for an hour, then two. Slowly, the entities stopped coming. The breach began to shrink. When the last entity was destroyed, the breach sealed itself. For now. Space was quiet again. Dozens of ships destroyed, hundreds of lives lost, but thousands saved. Floated in the vacuum, exhausted. His suit had used almost all its power. Around him, the other Reavers were the same. "We did it," Bo said weakly. "For now," replied. "Myra said the breach will keep trying. This was just the first opening." Admiral's voice came over the communications, tired and defeated. "You saved us, even after we tried to kill you." "That's what we do," said. "That's what Reavers are for." "The Council won't see it that way." "Then the Council is wrong." The fleet began rescue operations. Some ships fled, still afraid, but many stayed. They had seen the truth. They knew what was coming. And they knew humanity had just become something the galaxy couldn't ignore. Back on the Morning Belle, hugged tightly. The suit was still on him, but she didn't care. "Don't ever do something that stupid again." "Can't promise that." "I know." They looked at the 4 remaining pods in their cargo hold. 4 more suits waiting for pilots. 4 more chances to save the galaxy. The battle was over, but the war was just beginning. The galaxy changed after the breach opened at space. News of the battle spread everywhere. Videos showed the Reavers fighting impossible monsters. Ships that ran away told stories of humans in black suits holding back the end of reality. Some called them heroes. Others called them a new threat. Didn't care what they called him. He was too busy trying to stay alive. The Morning Belle traveled to a neutral station called Haven's Rest. It was smaller than Crossing Point, older, but the people here didn't ask questions. Perfect for a crew of wanted criminals turned accidental heroes. In the ship's cargo hold, the 4 remaining Reaver pods stood silent, waiting. "We need pilots," said. She was getting used to her suit now, learning its abilities. "The breach will open again. We all felt it. Next time will be worse." "People are afraid of the suits," said from the doorway. "Most won't volunteer." "Then we find people who aren't afraid," Bo suggested. She stood near the window, watching ships dock and undock. "People who have nothing to lose." "Or everything to gain," added. Sat quietly, listening to the suit's whispers. It showed him things now, not just memories but predictions, mathematical possibilities. The breach was trying to open in 3 more locations across the galaxy. Without more Reavers, they couldn't protect everywhere. His communication pad beeped, an encrypted message, opened it carefully. It was from Myra. "The Council is coming for you. They're preparing a fleet. Not to thank you, but to eliminate you. They're scared. Scared of what you represent. Scared that humans might become too powerful. Watch your back. And find the other suits quickly. I'm tracking breach signatures. Multiple openings predicted within 30 days. Myra." "We're out of time," said, showing the others the message. "We need to broadcast a message," said suddenly. "Tell people the truth. Ask for volunteers. The Council will track it, find us immediately." "Let them, we can't hide anymore." His voice was strong, confident. "If we're going to save this galaxy, we need to stop acting like criminals and start acting like defenders." Looked at the others, Bo nodded, shrugged. "She's right, running isn't working." "Fine," said. "We broadcast, but we do it smart. Use relay stations, keep moving, make it hard to track. Set up the broadcast system." They sent the message through a dozen different stations, bouncing the signal across sectors. It was simple, direct, and honest. "My name is, I'm wearing a Reaver suit. A week ago, the breach opened. Reality tore apart and monsters came through. You saw what happened. Ships erased from existence. People consumed by things that shouldn't exist. This is real. This is coming. We fought the breach. We closed it, but it will open again. Bigger, stronger, in more places. 5 Reavers aren't enough. We need more. I'm not asking soldiers or heroes to join us. I'm asking anyone. Anyone willing to protect others. Anyone brave enough to sacrifice their normal life for something bigger. We have 4 more suits. 4 more chances. The bonding is permanent. You can't remove the suit. Ever. You'll be hunted by the council, feared by people you're trying to save, but you'll have the power to stop the breach, to save trillions of lives. If you're interested, come to Haven's Rest Station. Sector 12 will be waiting. This is humanity's choice, but it's also the galaxy's last hope. The message went out. Within hours, responses came back. Some were angry, people calling a liar, a warmonger, a fool. The council officially declared him a terrorist. Military fleets began moving toward Haven's Rest. But other responses were different. A young man named, whose family died in the breach attack, wanted revenge on the monsters that killed them. An older woman named, a retired soldier tired of the council's cowardice, wanted to fight one more time. 2 siblings, Bora and Minu, both scientists who studied dimensional physics. They believed the breach was real and wanted to help stop it. Dozens of volunteers arrived at Haven's Rest. Some were desperate, some were idealistic, some were just tired of being powerless. Interviewed each one personally. He explained exactly what they would lose: their human bodies, their freedom, their normal lives. Some left after hearing the truth. Others stayed. How do we choose? Asked, looking at the remaining volunteers. The suits choose, said, not us. They brought volunteers to the pods one at a time. Most pods remained closed, rejecting the volunteers. The suits were selective. They needed specific qualities, compatible genetics, the right mindset. 3 days passed. The council fleet was getting closer. Haven's Rest was preparing to evacuate, and only one suit had found its pilot. The young man seeking revenge. The pod opened for him. The bonding was painful just like before, but survived. He stood in his new black suit, tears running down his face. I can feel it. The power. The connection to something greater. 1 down, said, 3 to go. On the 4th day, everything changed. The council fleet arrived. 20 warships surrounding Haven's Rest. Admiral's voice boomed over every communication channel. Surrender the Reaver suits immediately. This is your final warning. Not happening, broadcast back. We're protecting people, not attacking them. You're dangerous, unstable. The council has voted unanimously. The Reaver program must end. The breach doesn't care about your votes. Last chance. Before could answer, space tore open again. Not just one breach, 3 of them. Simultaneous openings around Haven's Rest Station. Exactly as Myra predicted, exactly as feared. Entities poured through all 3 breaches. Hundreds of them, maybe thousands. The council fleet immediately opened fire. Their weapons passed through the entities like smoke. Reavers shouted, "We're up." 6 Reavers launched from the morning bell. Bo, and one more, had bonded with a suit just hours ago, barely trained. But she fought anyway, her soldier instincts taking over. They split up, each pair taking a breach, and went left. Bo and went right, and went center, protecting the station directly. The battle was worse than before. More entities, bigger ones. Some were the size of buildings. Others were just blurs of impossible colors that hurt to look at. Suit was at full power now. He unleashed energy blasts that tore through entities, dissolving them into nothing. Fought beside him, her movements graceful and deadly. Together they pushed back waves of monsters. But it wasn't enough. One of the entities reached a civilian transport ship. It touched the hull, and half the ship vanished. People screamed as the air rushed out, flew to help, but more entities blocked his path. Then something amazing happened. The council ship stopped firing at the entities. They started firing at the breaches themselves, targeting the tiers in reality. It didn't close them, but it disrupted the flow. Fewer entities could come through. Keep it up, broadcast. Target the breach edges, buy us time. The Reavers focused on destroying entities while the fleet disrupted the breaches. It was working. Slowly, painfully, they were winning. Admiral's ship moved into position near the largest breach. "This is insane," she muttered over the open channel. "But if you're right about these things—" "We are," said between attacks. "Then humanity better not disappoint." The battle lasted 3 hours. When the last entity fell, when the breaches finally sealed, space was littered with debris. 7 council ships destroyed. 2 civilian transports lost. Haven's rest station was damaged but intact. 6 Reavers floated in the vacuum, exhausted but alive. The council fleet could have attacked them then, could have destroyed the Morning Bell while the Reavers were weak, but they didn't. Instead, Admiral's voice came through, quiet and serious. "You were right about everything. The breach, the suits, the danger. I'll report this to the council, but I can't promise they'll listen." "Make them listen," said. "This is just the beginning. The breach will keep opening, bigger every time. Eventually, we won't be able to stop it." "How many Reavers do you think you'll need?" "I don't know, dozens, maybe hundreds, as many as we can get." Was silent for a moment. "I'll do what I can. No promises, but thank you for not giving up on us, even when we tried to kill you." That's what Reavers do. The fleet left slowly. Some ships lingered, their crews watching the Reavers with a mix of fear and respect. The galaxy had just learned something important. Humans in Reaver suits were terrifying, but they were also necessary. Back on Haven's rest station, celebrations mixed with mourning. People who survived thanked the Reavers. Families who lost loved ones blamed them for not being fast enough. Both reactions were fair. Stood in the station's observation deck, looking at the stars. His suit had become comfortable now, almost natural. He couldn't remember what his skin felt like without it. Joined him, 3 pods left. We need 3 more pilots. They'll come. After today, more people will volunteer. Are you sure? No, but I have to believe it. Took his suited hand in hers. The suit didn't feel cold anymore, just different. You know this won't end well. The council will never fully accept you. Some species will always fear what you've become. I know. And the breach will keep coming. Myra's research says it gets stronger each time. Eventually, even dozens of Reavers might not be enough. I know that too. So why keep fighting? Smiled, because someone has to, because we're humans. We're stubborn, reckless, and we don't know when to quit. It's kind of our thing. Laughed, that's the worst reason to save the galaxy. It's the only reason we've got. Over the next week, more volunteers came. News of the battle spread. Some species started calling for human registration, worried about Reaver suits spreading. Other species asked for human protection, wanting Reavers stationed in their sectors. The council remained split. Half wanted to destroy all Reavers, half wanted to recruit more. The debate raged while the galaxy held its breath. 3 more suits found their pilots. A farmer named who wanted to protect his colony. A pilot named who had seen the breach destroy her fleet. And surprisingly, a warrior named. The first non-human to bond with a Reaver suit. I thought only humans were compatible, Bo said when emerged from the pod. Apparently the predecessors shared DNA with more species than we thought, Myra's voice said over communications. She was back on Dust Home, still researching. This changes everything. If other species can wear the suits, the council will lose their excuse to eliminate them. 9 Reavers now. Still not enough, but it was progress. gathered them all together on the morning bell, looking at his team, human and alien alike, all wearing the same black suits, all committed to the same impossible mission. Myra's tracking shows 37 potential breach locations across the galaxy. We can't be everywhere, can't save everyone, but we can try. What's the plan? Asked. We split up, small teams stationed at high-risk sectors. We set up a warning network, train more pilots, build an army. The Council won't allow it, said. The Council doesn't have a choice anymore. The breach doesn't care about politics or laws. It just wants to consume, and we're the only ones who can stop it. So we keep fighting, said. Keep pissing off the galaxy while saving it. Smiled. Exactly. Any questions? Spoke, his voice strange coming from a Reaver suit. What happens when we're not enough? When the breach opens everywhere at once? The question hung in the air. Nobody had an answer. Finally said, then we do what humans do best. We improvise, we adapt. We refuse to accept defeat even when it's inevitable. It's not a good plan, but it's the only one we've got. That's insane, said. Welcome to being a Reaver. The team dispersed to their assignments and stayed on the morning bell preparing for the next crisis, because there would be a next crisis. The breach was patient. It could wait. It had all of eternity. But so did the Reavers. As long as someone was willing to bond with a suit, as long as humans kept being reckless and brave and stupid enough to put on alien killer suits to save people who feared them. His communication pad beeped one last time. Another message from Myra. I found something in the predecessor archives, something important. The breach can be closed permanently, but the cost is, I need to verify the translation. We'll send details soon. Be ready for anything. M. Stared at the message. A way to close the breach permanently. That should have been good news, but Myra's hesitation worried him. What kind of cost would make her pause? Everything okay? Asked. I don't know, maybe, hopefully. Looked out at the stars again, at the galaxy they had sworn to protect. Whatever happens next, I want you to know. Don't, she interrupted. Don't do the goodbye speech. We're not dying today. How do you know? Because I'm a better pilot than anyone in the galaxy, and you're too stubborn to die. Together, we're unstoppable. Laughed. That's the worst logic I've ever heard. It's worked so far. The morning bell's engines hummed to life. Another destination, another mission, another chance to save people who would never thank them. Settled into his seat and let the suit connect to the ship systems. The galaxy thought Reavers were weapons, monsters from an ancient war. Maybe they were right. But monsters weren't always the villains. Sometimes, monsters were exactly what you needed when reality itself was trying to end. Smiled inside his suit. All right, let's go piss off the galaxy one more time. That's what I like to hear. The morning bell jumped to faster-than-light speed. Behind them, 9 Reaver suits protected the galaxy. Ahead of them, the breach waited, growing stronger with each passing day. The war for existence had begun, and humanity had just volunteered to fight on the front lines. Because that's what humans did. They found dangerous alien technology. They put it on. And then they saved everyone, whether the galaxy wanted to be saved or not. It was insane. It was reckless. It was exactly what the universe needed. And wouldn't have it any other way.